Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Public Works Podcast. My name is Joseph Blackman, and tonight we got a real treat for you. Her name is Linnea Rader, and she is the Director of Finance and Human Resources at Buren County Road Commission in beautiful Lawrence, Michigan. Linnea, say what's up to everybody.
Hello. Excited to be here.
So, Linnea, you're a woman of many hats, a woman of many titles. So we'll talk about, what you do with Van Buren County Road Commission. We'll talk about Lead with Linnea. And then we'll also talk about the Michigan Public Service Institute, which is kind of how we connected. So first, start us off, just what you do with Van Buren County as a Director of Finance and Human Resources. Give us a 30,000-foot view of what that means and what that is.
30,000-foot view. It is all about the money and the people.
Okay, that's
lots of fun things.
Yeah. Okay, so is it more so money and people, they act in different ways, whether it's money, sometimes it comes, sometimes it goes. People, sometimes they act nice and sometimes they don't. Is that kind of what you deal with on the day-to-day? Run us through a day in the life of Linnea, a random Tuesday of what Linnea does.
It's so crazy because there's every day is so different. It can start out, I start with my 3 to 5 list and I've got all the things I'm going to do today, and then things happen. So, you can have all sorts of situations. You've got, this morning we had a meeting about a bridge. This culvert is it's not doing great. So we got to load rate it. And now we got to put it on the list to get replaced and bump a couple things off. So we got to find $850,000 here real quick and in a hurry. Super fun. Not really.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge. And then later this afternoon, we're going to have union negotiations where we're working out hopefully we're in the home stretch. We're going to get the contract nailed down and settled and everything. And it doesn't even expire till December. So we're super far ahead, doing great and building good relationships. So it changes.
Okay. Yeah. A common thing that I've experienced within my travels in this industry, money and people, you never have enough of either.
Nope.
So do you rub your hands together and come up with more money and more talent? How does that work?
Oh, it's tough. It's so tough. So right now, the Michigan legislature is working on a plan. We're hoping by October 1, we might actually come up with some new money. I'm not holding my breath, but I'm also really excited and hoping. So money is always difficult. So it's always about what we can do more efficiently, more effectively, and spread that stuff around. And then people-wise, you never have enough people, but we've been really working on growing our people. So letting our people grow and learn and do different things. And that's, I think, one of the things I enjoy doing the most.
Yeah. You're not a mushroom. You weren't born yesterday, popped up overnight, and became the Director of Finance and Human Resources. Give us Linnea's career path from the time you graduated high school all the way up until today.
All right. So graduated high school and went to college at Western Michigan University. Got my bachelor's in accountancy because I was like, yep, numbers are great. Awesome. Graduated from college and thought I wanted to be in banking and quickly figured out maybe not. Banking's not as much fun as I thought it would be. So I saw an advertisement. I was literally 6 months out of college, saw an advertisement, not even a couple of months out of college, saw an advertisement for the Road Commission. And it was in my hometown. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. This could be great. The commute would be like a minute or two. Awesome. So checked it out and I got hired in as an accounting clerk. So it was right up my alley. I got to deal with numbers. So fun. 20 years later, here we are. So I went from accounting clerk and I worked my way through doing a couple different things here at the Road Commission. And when our prior finance director retired, stepped into this role and added human resources to it.
Wow. Happily ever after. Numbers, math, it's a sticky subject for a lot of people. I mean, again, I deal with operators a lot, supervisors, the pesky numbers that we have to deal with in our industry. Give us some tips and tricks to be great at math like Linnea is.
Well, just use a calculator. When we were in elementary and high school and everybody's like, you're not gonna always have a calculator.
Yes, you will.
Surprise.
I love it.
It's like it doesn't have to be as hard as we all make it out to be.
Yeah.
Numbers
Yeah.
tell a story, and if you just follow them and take it easy, it's not as hard as everybody makes it out to.
Gotcha. Van Buren County Road Commission. A lot of people like. I'm familiar with utilities, cities, counties. It's certain. I mean, it's an agency, but like, what do you guys do? Like, you guys collect all this money. You have all these people. What do you guys do? And I'm being facetious, but
No, I get it. Yeah.
Those. Go ahead.
So Michigan is, I believe, the only state in the country that actually has road commissions. So it's actually a separate entity from the county. We fall under their umbrella, but we have our own budget, our own commissioners. We have all our own stuff. So it's actually quite brilliant, if you ask me. And working with the American Public Works Association, I've met people from across the country and talking about like how you do money when you're a county entity and you are in the same budget as police, fire, water, sewer, all the things. We're just road commission. So all of our money comes to us for the road commission. We're not having to kind of compete, so to speak, in a budget land for all the different things. So it's very nice from that aspect, but from then the road commission side, we do roads, we do bridges, and all the things that go along with it. But that's it. So, when I'm working with people from other states and other places, I like what we've got going on.
Yeah. No, it sounds like, you're not battling with all those other departments for budget and resources and just attention. You kind of just dance to the beat of your own drum. Yeah. Okay. The skill sets, I like to ask people who are good at what they do, what's like the main skill set somebody should pick up to be successful as a director of finance and human resources? What would that main skill set be?
Lots of keeping things organized. I get to have, I think a lot of public works people have like a hat rack. We talk about multiple hats, wearing all the different hats, and mine are very different. With money, it's, keeping things organized and a lot of structure. People, it's a whole different deal. When you're working with people, it's really all about having some grace, taking some time, patience, and really focusing on who people are. And it sounds really crazy when you're talking about HR. HR is about all these policies and procedures, and it's structured and all these things, but you do have to remember the people and who they are and why you're here.
Sure. And you kind of alluded to it, but I one thing I wanted to dive deeper into, kind of that stigma of HR. Like, when you think of HR, you think of like the most bitterest people on the planet. And they're just out to get you and out to say, you went against policy and we're going to ding you.
Yep.
So how do we get, let's not make it generational, but like, how do we get people who are new to a corporate environment, to a company, industry, agency where there is an HR department versus like the normal mom and pop that they might have worked for coming out of high school? Now they have to deal with HR. Like, how do we get that stigma to be like, hey, we're pro people. We want people to succeed. We want to pay you. We want to give you benefits, versus being that, that ruler slap on the back of your hand when you do something wrong. Like, how can we kind of reshape that and reframe HR?
Yeah, so it is hard because we are a lot of times people are like, oh, we're going to the principal's office. Yep, there we go. The reality is everybody wants a safe environment where they're paid appropriately, they're trained up as much as they can, that they can learn and grow and be happy and healthy, right? Well, that comes with accountability. And in HR, the job of HR people is to make sure everybody's held accountable. And sometimes that means there is a slap on the wrist, or there's something that has to happen that, follow the rules, follow the procedures, follow all those things. But it's really about accountability. And that's something when I'm working with people, everybody wants everyone else, at least, to be held accountable. So if we just look at it as somebody's just working to try to make sure everybody's held accountable, it takes a little bit of that stigma away. And
Sure.
It does take some time because it is hard when you are the one that always has to enforce the rules. That's not super fun. Like going out and being like, okay, we got to have this horrible, difficult conversation. It's not fun. but we have to have it. And the sooner we have it, the quicker it gets over with and everybody can learn and grow from it. So
Yeah.
just understanding that everybody's just trying to do their jobs.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. I like that. You don't have to give me numbers or anything, but I always like to have an idea of the type or demographic of people who are applying for agency, municipality, utility positions. Is it the 19-year-old and he's finally getting his, he's done with high school, he's not going to go to college, he's not going to go to the services. You scoop him up at that age. Is it like a 36-year-old is like, man, I got 2 kids and I got to start taking life serious? Give us kind of a sense of, the type of talent pool that's out there, because your HR, I'm sure you deal with most of the people like the first touch. So give us a sense of like who agencies are finding out there in the talent pool.
So it kind of runs the gamut. We actually developed our own in-house apprenticeship program. And a lot of times what will happen is somebody will come here to work a seasonal summer job. They're out of high school and they're like, I don't really know what I want to do. I know I don't want to go to college, but like, let's try this. So they come in and they flag traffic or they do some basic things, and it's kind of a great 3-month interview. And at the end of that, it's like, okay, is this something that we want you to do? Is it something you want to do? And we have an apprenticeship program that lasts about a year and trains people up and gets them their CDL, which is a huge deal right now. So gives those opportunities. So that's one way. And we've had really great luck. We've had some amazing apprenticeship candidates that have been able to come on full time and are starting their career at 19 years old. And that's kind of cool. Then we have some people, like you said, that have families at home. They may have worked in the construction industry and they're used to, over the summer months, working 100 hours a week, and they never get to see their kids' sporting events and they're missing out on life. And they're like, okay, the money was great, but money isn't everything. So they're ready to kind of cross that bridge, come in here and start that career there. And then we do get some people that are kind of on the tail end that are wanting to get out still of that, crazy schedule, construction, going, and kind of come take a great job, great benefits, work hard, and work till retirement.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So it's kind of the whole spectrum, what you see.
Yeah. A lot of it, it's very interesting to see. I mean, when you're doing interviews, we have found really good luck in open interviews where we say, we're going to have interviews. Anybody that's interested, stop by at these times. It kind of helps, a lot of times when you do structured interviews, what do? You do them during the day when you are working. Well, what are they doing? They're also working, hopefully.
Yeah.
So like you have these open interviews in the evening, people can stop by and you'll go from interviewing somebody who's no CDL, right out of high school, just starting out. And then you'll have somebody who's, an older person who's coming off of like working 1 million hours a week or out of a completely different industry. And they're like, public service sounds like it might be something interesting to me. So it's kind of cool.
Interesting. That's pretty cool. I love the bookmark that open interview aspect, because I do think you get a different crowd or even a different energy when you meet them where they're at. Because I'll be honest, we all have a performance anxiety. When we go into an interview at like 11 a.m. and we know there's going to be 3 people sitting across from you, and like, you have to present about yourself and it's like your solo interview for 15, 20, 30 minutes. Like that's tough. But if you could stroll in at, 6:15 p.m. and you see everybody else lined up in the hallway, you're kind of just kicking it. And, again, you might be from a different industry, but you might be attracted to the public work side of things because that might be the pace you want to start working at. I feel like that's a better environment for a better interview or showing yourself off.
Well, yeah. And I mean, talking about a lot of public works people talking about themselves and talking about what they do is not their forte. So having it not be scheduled for a week ahead of time where you got to like sweat it out, whatever. This is this open interview. I'm just going to show up and see what happens. It takes the stress out and you have way more real conversations. And in an interview, you want a real conversation. I don't need some scripted, here's what, I Googled to say the answers to these questions. What good does that do me?
Give me one interview tip, something that you might have seen or you say, if they would just figure this part out, make it to the next round, what would that one tip be?
Be themselves.
Okay.
So much. People spend so much time being who they think people want them to be.
Mm,
You know, like you see everything. Like if you're like, okay, how to prepare for an interview. Oh, you go through and you study all these questions and you figure out what you're going to say and you have it all planned out and whatever. I don't need that.
Yeah.
And when we run interviews here, you know, we've got a list of questions. Yeah, that's what we got to do. But trying to make it so that people are comfortable.
Yeah.
Opening up with some open-ended questions to get people comfortable speaking and having that open dialogue where it's a little bit of a back and forth.
Yeah.
Trying to draw that out so you actually see who they are. Because the reality is, at this point in the world, I can train for almost anything. I'm hiring for character. I'm hiring for attitude.
Yeah.
I'm hiring for behavior. Like, I want a person that's willing to do the work.
Yeah.
If you're willing to do the work and you've got the motivation to work hard, I can train you in the rest.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm biased to the whole training aspect of things. I mean, I have a service that deals with training in our industry. You said in this day and age, you can train for pretty much anything. Explain that. So others might not know. Others might think that, oh man, it's so hard to train this 19-year-old who doesn't even know his way around a crescent wrench. Like, how can I get these guys or guys and girls in the right position to succeed within my agency? So give us kind of your thought process or methodology on that you can train for anything.
You can train for anything. You just need to take a step back and figure out what it is you need to start with. For the longest time, we're all like, oh yeah, you're just going to go, you know, we are in Van Buren County, Michigan. So we have 1,330 miles of road and you're just going to go here. They don't know how to read a map.
Yeah.
A lot of younger people, especially, have grown up in the age of having a cell phone.
Yeah.
And it has GPS on it. So they're used to following that. It doesn't work so great when you're working in public works to have to use your phone all the time to get somewhere.
Yeah.
So you take a step back. Okay, so what do these people need to learn? Well, first things first, let's start with how to read a map. So we sit down and we have a map and we go through like, here's how you read our map. You know, we've got a good grid system. Some communities aren't lucky enough to have that as well. But everybody's got a system, right?
Yeah.
We go through the system and then we give them some addresses to play with and practice and figure out, and then let them go do it.
Yeah.
And that's where very adult learning model, put your hands on it, get up and move in. You know, yep, you got to do some of the study type stuff where you're looking at a map, but then hands on and then go try it.
Yeah.
We also do basic, you know, and we're talking starting out. We're going to put everybody in a pickup truck with a trailer on it, and let's make sure we can back up first.
I love it. That was one of my,
Right?
at the young age of 26, for me, I got my first big boy job and I had to back up a trailer. And the first time I backed up a trailer was in Innuit's corp yard, like Innuit City's yard. And like, I'm literally like, it's, you know, it's 18 guys and they're all, you know, they've been in the industry for 18, 20 years and they're staring at me and I got to back this trailer up. And you know how nervous I was? Like, and I'm thinking, why didn't they have me back this thing up at my dealer's yard? Like in a controlled environment.
Yes. So that's where we try to just start out super simple. Now, like when we're hiring not into the apprenticeship program, we're hiring somebody and they're like, I've been in construction for 30 years.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Tell me where you are.
Mm.
And then every person that walks in this door gets paired up with a mentor.
Okay.
So they have a mentor, and sometimes it changes depending on who they're with and what they're doing. But they get a mentor so that that's some person that they can kind of build from day one a relationship with.
Mm-hmm.
So that if they're like, dude, I don't know how to back up a trailer and I'm 50. They can tell that one person, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in front of everybody else.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. Because when people are competent, they're more confident. And it's hard to get somebody to go, I don't know. Like,
no, especially being the new person where they're trying to fit in. Nobody wants to be like, oh, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, let's provide a safe and healthy environment where you can easily just say, here's where I'm at on all these things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And work with this person that you can kind of build that trust in. So it's all about psychological safety, right? Like, big thing, making sure everybody feels safe and comfortable being able to speak. So
love it. Psychological safety. Speaking of training, Michigan Public Service Institute. It's something that, again, we kind of you know, we have a program similar to that in Arizona through APWS called PWI, Public Works Institute. But Michigan Public Service Institute, I could tell the dance is a little different. You know, it's that flower child that's just crushing it up in your area. Kind of tell us the 30,000-foot view of what it is, what problem you're solving with it, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper into it.
Yeah. So the Michigan Public Service Institute has been around for over 30 years. So it's the kind of OG Public Works Institute. So it is run through an APWA chapter, the Michigan chapter, and Illinois and Ohio have very similar programs that we do. It's a 3-year program. And so each year it tackles a different problem. So it's like customer service excellence, leadership. It touches on each different thing. So each year we bring in new people.
Yeah.
So there's different groups. You know, we do 3 years. They work their way through it. 3rd year graduates, and more people are coming in all the time. It's awesome. This year, actually next week, we have our next session of it. And then 2 weeks later, we have another one because we went from 1 session a year to 2. Now we're at 3.
Wow.
We have so many people. We had a waiting list that was years long, and we realized that there were a lot of public works people out there that were missing out. Yeah. And they were having to go try to find this type of training somewhere else, and they couldn't find it. So we opened it up, and now we have 3 sessions, and it's huge. It's great.
Yeah. And one thing I love about it is, you know, a lot of us talk about hard skills, like, oh, you know, purifying water and like, you know, pulling a pump and, you know, hard skills. But soft skills is, whenever I have somebody on this podcast, is never really the hard skills that got them further in their career. It's the soft skills, like how to talk to people, how to manage conflict, like how to, like you said, have those tough conversations, how to show up on time, how to be a team player, things like that. So tell us why you're more focused on the soft skills instead of, you know, training people on, again, like how to pull a pump.
Yeah. So the soft skills are the ones that make everybody scared. Because they're those human skills, right? Like there's no checklist that says, all right, I'm a great leader now. Or I can handle every customer service.
There's no
thing
cert for that. Yeah.
There's no cert for that. And there's no like, oh, I can do all the things, right? No. It's all about building yourself up and growing to be able to handle those other things. Whereas like driving a truck, doing pre-trip inspection, I can make a checklist and I can go through and I can check it off one thing after a time. Doesn't work that way with all the soft skills. So it focuses totally on those things. And then we get a little bit deeper into some of the hard skills, maybe. We have a Road Scholar program in Michigan, and that's for your frontline right away people. And then like we get out and we dig a hole in the park in the grass at the hotel.
Sure.
They love us there. And we put in, they love that. Actually, they think it's really cool. But we put in a trench box and everybody gets in the trench. And you learn some of those different things and how to work with it. And we bring in, and they bring in like an electrical city grid and hook it into the hotel and we run that and fry a hot dog. You know, just showing how like balloons and all the different things, arcing and sparking and all the different ways that electricity can be great and scary. And how to work with it. So in Michigan, we really work to try to cover all the different aspects. We've got the Michigan Public Service Institute to help train people how to be leaders and how to grow in themselves in that aspect. And we've got the Road Scholar program kind of for those frontline people to get that, you know, get their feet wet and really learn how to do some of those more hard skills.
Gotcha. And kind of a similar question to your HR. Where are people at career-wise when they're saying, I got to go to the Michigan Public Service Institute? You know, are they mid-career and they want to make that level from, you know, getting out of that trench box to the air-conditioned office? Or are they like, hey, I've been in the air-conditioned office because I went to college, but I don't know anything about getting in the trench box. So where are people normally at when they're saying, hey, I want to go to this course, I want to take these classes to get to where they see the next level is?
Yeah, so typically Michigan Public Service Institute, you're seeing kind of a real range. We've got anywhere from people that are like union reps, union stewards, that want to be better leaders of their union. We've got superintendents who want to be better leaders for their frontline people. Then you've got people in the office. that want to be leaders of the entire organization or of their groups or departments, those kinds of things. So it really can start pretty early in their career as far as when they want, where they want to be. But it's all about, it's time to take on some leadership and start to pick up some more of those skills.
Yeah. Why don't I see something similar to this nationwide or even statewide? Like what, like if that's my bone to pick, is why can't we have this for every, let's say 100 square miles in every state across the country? There should be something like this that can train our public service employees. Why isn't there something like that?
It's a lot of work. But any community that wants to work on it, you let me know and I can hook you up with the right people, because we have in Michigan, Ohio, and in Illinois, we have a great group of people that helps us put this program on. And they're amazing. They help us so much, and they kind of help build it for other communities as well. So
sure.
But it's hard. It's a lot. It's a heavy lift. It takes a lot of volunteers, a lot of people working really, really hard. And it takes the buy-in from communities. Because it is a lot. I mean, you're sending somebody away 1 week, a year for 3 years.
Well,
There's financial end of it. There's the time. How many people you have in your department? Can you afford to be down one for a week? So I mean, it takes a lot to get it to go, but once it goes, it's so important, and you see so much growth within people. It's unreal.
Yeah. It's kind of like that dichotomy. Would you rather pay to train employees or have employees that aren't trained and pay in that regard? So, yeah. Okay. Lead with Linnea. So a birdie told me that Linnea has her own company, which is really cool. And to be honest, I feel this is my soapbox moment. I feel like in today's culture, with kind of how things are going, everybody should have their own, I don't want to call it a side hustle, but their own thing that their own tree that they're chopping at on the side of their employment. Of course, it's great to be formally employed. You get a consistent paycheck, you get benefits and stuff like that. But I think the world would be a better place if everybody was working on something on the side, because it tells you like, oh, this is why my manager made this decision, regarding, hours or money, because you just get it when you're doing something on the side. And then you're more fired up. Like, it's easier to get out of bed when you're trying to solve a problem that you want to solve versus just, getting in line and being a cog in the wheel. So now I'm off my soapbox. Tell us about Lead with Linnea, what problem you're solving with it, and then how it's going.
Well, actually, it started here at the Road Commission. So we were finding that it's really hard to hire supervisors or leaders in public works. There's such a huge learning curve. And there's so many different things going on all the time that it's really hard to build people up that are coming in. So we decided we wanted to start one in-house. So we called it the Big Picture Leadership Program. And we sent out a sign up and said, hey, do you want to learn how to be a leader or learn more about the organization? 13 people signed up for the inaugural program. And I'm like, well, that was pretty awesome, because they didn't even know what they were getting into. But they did it, and
they believed in it.
They did. And we started with some of those soft skills. How do you communicate? How do you have those difficult conversations? Why do we have to document all these things the way we do? I mean, I think every public works employee has said, why in the world do we have to do it this way at one time or another? So we broke it down. We got into the nitty gritty. Well, I was putting these training programs together, and I realized one day, I am so happy when I'm doing this. Like, I love this. I love watching people grow. I love watching the light bulb burst above their head. I love it when they're like, I can do that. And from that original 13 group, 3 of them have now been promoted into leadership and supervisory roles. So it's working. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this. So I said, well, maybe I could do this. So I reached out to a couple of people that do leadership and professional development training and said, do you think I can do this, or am I crazy? And they said, well, you're definitely crazy, but you can totally do this. Because, you got to be a little crazy in the public works industry or you're not going to go too far. But, and I started. So with Lead with Linnea, I do a blog post twice a week. And I just this week started doing an audio recording with it so that, like, my public works friends that are in a vehicle can actually listen to it instead of reading. So trying to kind of reach more audience that way. But I just talk about some of the leadership challenges that we struggle with every day, whether it's at home, with our personal lives, or at work, or, and it doesn't have to always be public works. A lot of the stuff is focused more on public works, but it's a lot of different leadership topics. And then I just started doing training for other organizations and trying to help them build up their people, because it's hard sometimes. Not every person is going to be the best trainer. Like the people that know the stuff, your best operator might not be your best trainer. They might not know how to relate to other people. They might not know how to, this other person thinks differently than I do. So can I put myself in their shoes to help them learn?
Yeah.
It's not always.
I deal with that all the time. I say Michael Jordan will be a terrible basketball coach because there's a lot of nuance that he's missed in his ascent in skill gathering. The person who's starting off with the basketball, he's probably saying like, hey, it's easy to go through your legs behind your back and dunk the ball. But the kid is like, hey, man, I can't even dribble with my opposite hand. So there's a lot of nuance that's lost in somebody who's been at it for 30 years and training young Johnny who's been at it for 13 months, So it's, you're speaking the language. Usually it comes, and I deal with this a lot in my travels with Fatendo, is that there's a type of person who wants to give back, who has that nurturing energy, and even they kind of moonlight as a YouTuber or like an explainer type. They want to do that. They have the heart for teaching and training. Those are the ones you want to use, even if they don't know the most. They're the ones who deliver it and be able to get it across to the person who wants that knowledge. So. Yeah,
I started, let's train the trainer. Let's see what happens. And some people are like, oh my gosh, I love this. I want to keep doing this. I want to be your trainer. Awesome. And some are like, that isn't for me. Also awesome. Like how amazing that you can actually recognize that in yourself and be like, I don't think this is the best fit for me. So like one of my favorite ones is how to do, train the trainer and how you train people to train so that they learn so much from training. So that's one of my favorite things to do with my training. So I just offer a lot of different training opportunities, different lessons that can be, used to help different organizations.
Yeah. How does Linnea upskill? How do you year after year, whether it's the director of finance and human resources or leading with Linnea, how do you continue to get better and better? What do you do actionably to keep putting new information into your brain?
Connect with other people, whether it's in person at different conferences, whether it's online watching podcasts, or different things like that, involving myself with different organizations. You can learn everywhere. I always want to learn, whether I'm reading a book or whether, I mean, every day I learn something. Sometimes it's something I don't want to know, but I do learn something from it. I can learn what I want to do. I can learn what I should never do. I can learn from other people. I'm always trying to learn something. So daily, I make sure I do my 3 to 5 lists to help kind of keep my brain focused. But I also realize that I'm going to get pulled off of things and have to go deal with, put out the fire, so to speak. But that kind of helps keep me focused and then kind of learn and grow from there.
Misconceptions. Let's say you're at a dinner party. Somebody, the question always comes up. So, Linnea, what do you do? And you tell them what you do. You said, I'm the director of finance and human resources for Buren County Road Commission. And they have that look on their face. What do you think they're thinking after you tell them what you do?
They're like, oh, this is going to be a fun conversation. How do I exit stage left? So, it's such a challenge sometimes. Sometimes you say, oh, you're from the road commission. And it's like, oh, I'm from the government. I'm here to help. Right. So like you kind of get some of those people that are like, great. This is, you just sit in an office all day. You don't do anything. Hate that. But also I get it. And then there's the part where you're like the HR person. Oh, you're the principal. That I get a lot. Especially my husband's a union steward for another municipal public works department. So I'm like, okay, so we have a really great thing. Like if he has union meetings, he's like, maybe you shouldn't come with. Because Totally a
Yeah,
different
yeah,
vibe, right? I'm like, yeah, I get it.
yeah,
So, I don't know. It's interesting because people are like, oh my gosh, because they don't get it. They don't understand. They don't see it from your point of view. So I just like to explain to people what we do. But also be able to take it with a grain of salt. Because there's some people that have some really, really strong viewpoints on things. And oh,
yeah,
you're from the government, you are evil.
yeah,
I mean, it could be anything.
yeah,
And you can't take it personal.
yeah, yeah. How can we shift that? How can we shift people thinking that government workers are just, this five guys standing around a hole and one person's in there, or like, we don't know what you guys do behind those walls. You're just collecting money and you don't do anything with it. And everything you do, it's in the way and it takes too long and you're always asking for more money. Like, how can we shift that?
It's all about answering questions. People like just human nature. If you don't know the answer to a question, you make it up. It's just how people work. Assumptions are rampant in life. So
100%.
we
Yeah.
just provide information, and sometimes people like it. Some people, we have social media all around us, right? So we put information out there all the time from the Road Commission. And you see the people that are on there making comments about how stupid it is, how worthless it is, whatever. Fine. Respectfully, sometimes we respond, sometimes we don't. Most people are getting that information, whether they're commenting, they're responding, they're calling, they're whatever they're doing. Most people are getting the information and appreciating it. It's like that 1% that's getting on there, making the negative comments, because I see that a lot with different organizations where they're like, I got a negative comment. I got people pushing back. I'm going to stop. I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to step out of this. No, thank you. Most people get it. So it's just about still, even though you might get that negative, continue pushing down the road, provide that positive, provide the information. Most of the people are going to get it.
Yeah. A lot of times we think that one negative comment is the majority when usually it's the minority. Like, let's be honest, a lot of people, if something positive is happening, they won't congratulate, they won't say anything. They just go on about their day. But like, they say bad news is halfway around the world before good news gets its pants on. So don't think that one negative comment is the majority. It's that
Right.
one person dealing with something. And we never know what people are going through. So we don't judge
They've
them.
got a
We go,
bucket.
yeah. Put them in their bucket. Go, okay, that's you in your bucket. But yeah, it's easy. I mean, any type of social media posting, whether it's posting personal content, anything, that one negative comment gets to us until we have to reframe it and go, that's their problem. It's their problem.
So yeah, it's just all about sharing information, giving information so that people don't have to make it up to
Yeah.
fill in the gaps.
Yeah, because you'll see in the comments on a city's Facebook post or Instagram post, they'll start conspiring and somebody will say something, I heard this or that, and now they're down this rabbit hole and you're like, where did this come from? Who started it?
And it's all because somebody doesn't understand typically. Now, sometimes there's somebody that's like, hey, let's drop this bomb and see what happens. Okay.
Yeah.
You're never going to fix that.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's somebody that just has a question that doesn't know an answer and they're just assuming.
Yeah.
I've got a blog post about that, by the way.
Okay. Is it out already?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get the links at the end of the show here. Let's say you're commissioned to put up a billboard, and this billboard is in the most trafficked area of Lawrence, Michigan. What ask of your community would you put on this billboard?
Slow down.
Okay.
When you're in a construction zone, slow down, put your phone down. We're people. All of our people are humans, and that's where a lot of times it gets lost.
Yeah.
Government is seen as a governmental entity. It's an entity. It's not a person.
Yeah.
And we are humans, and all of our people deserve to go home every day in the same shape what they came in as. We had a fatality a couple of years ago, and it hit so hard. We lost an amazing man because somebody was texting in a work zone.
Gosh. Yeah.
Or I guess he was TikToking. I want to be. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
Please don't do that. So yeah, if I could put up a billboard, it would be, we are human too. We are all one. Like, just please put down the phone, focus on your driving.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Yeah. I love it. I always like to leave a space on the show for you to thank mentors that you had along your journey. And then I want Linnea to give a pep talk and a word of inspiration and motivation to your fellow finance and human resources counterparts across the country.
Okay, so let's see. Let's start at the beginning. Mentors. There have been so many people that have built all sorts of aspects of my life. I've had people at the Road Commission, former bosses that have just made such a huge impact and have opened doors that have allowed me to, one boss let me become an emerging leader with the American Public Works Association. Like, we won't talk about how many years ago, but it was an amazing experience that opened my eyes like no other. And then I have people like through the Public Service Institute that I've met, the people that help us put that on, who have just taught me, all of what I know about, just about everything. So I've been so blessed. And I think in public works, if you are willing to pay attention, there are people around you that will show you the way. And I think it's just so important to always be able to take a step back, look around you, and take it in, because we get so busy. We get so busy in life that we don't even realize everything is just going. And we need to take that step back and be able to pay attention to those people that are around us and see what we can learn from each other.
Sure. Okay. All right. Let's say I'm coming to Lawrence, Michigan, and I text you ahead of time. I say, Linnea, where can I go to get the best burger in Lawrence, Michigan? Where are you going to send me?
So I'm going to tell you in Van Buren County, because we're a little tiny. And Van Buren County is where we're at, right? So if I had to tell you where to get the very, very, very best burger, I'd tell you Papa Brewing Company. It's just a quick little drive away, but they've got some really cool burgers and fun stuff to do.
Okay. Papa Buren Company. It is. All right, Linnea, tell us where we can find more about Lead with Linnea, and then also the Public Works. I keep messing. Yeah, the Public Works Institute.
All right, so Lead with Linnea, we try to make it super simple, right? So I have a website, leadwithlinnea.com.
Oh.
Real simple. And I'm on all the socials, Lead with Linnea, with Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube now.
Okay.
That's new this week, so there's only a couple there, but started out with that. Then Public Service Institute, the Michigan Public Works Institute. Now you got me stumbling over my words. Also has a website. It's MIPSI, MIPSI.org.
Okay.
And it's got all sorts of really cool information in it.
Yeah. Linnea, thanks for hopping on the show today. Thanks for sharing your wealth of information and knowledge with us. To all the listeners out there, make sure you share this with somebody who you think needs to hear it. Linnea, any final words before we get out of here?
Just everybody needs to keep on learning. We're in public service. We're serving our people, and the best way we can do that is just keep learning. And growing.
Good stuff. Linnea, this has been the Public Works Podcast, and thank you everybody for tuning in.